Good day everyone, and welcome to my next LP, in which I am going to actually play the pre-production version of Final Fantasy VII, everyone's favourite game. We've got the ideas, we've got the... Wait a second, that's not Final Fantasy VII? As you would know from the title, this is actually Parasite Eve. But the whole Final Fantasy VII reference is still sort of suitable, because the idea for this game was the actual original idea for Final Fantasy VII. But we're going to be talking about that throughout this LP, shall we? First of all, we'll just start the game. And usually I wouldn't be talking over the cutscenes, but because this is cutscenes in its more primitive sort of sense, there's no context in regards to any dialogue or anything, that we don't have to actually spoil anything, or you don't have to worry too much about me mumbling too much. This game, as I mentioned before, the original conception of this game was the original ideas for Final Fantasy VII. Originally, it was actually supposed to be a game that was based in 1999 in a New York sort of setting, in which it was more of a detective story, as well as incorporates a lot of time travel. However, because the producers at that time, they decided to actually put the Final Fantasy franchise onto the PlayStation after a dispute with Nintendo. And because they actually had to bother with the 3D modeling as well as the different gameplay elements, they had to scrap the idea, and they tried to actually make the game more gameplay orientated, in which, you know, everyone loves a storyline for Final Fantasy VII, but they could not actually fulfill it using this narrative right here. So, at the time when this was happening, we also were expecting a particularly awesome game called Chrono Trigger. And the ideas for time travel actually went to that game. And the idea of settling a RPG sort of story in New York City was actually shipped onto this, which became Parasite Eve. So there's a bit of background story for you. And we'll start talking about the story for this game in particular a little bit later, whilst we choose a name for our heroine right here. And I'm going to stick with Aya, because as Asian people would say, that's what you would do, and what you would say when you actually stub your toe. Aya indeed. We'll see indeed, Mr. Unnamed Date. So, the reason why I'm actually playing this game is because I remember playing this game when it first, on its opening day actually, strangely enough, when I was really young. A particular friend actually got it as soon as it was released, as he was actually in Japan at the time, and decided to actually, show this game off, because he was playing it for a bit and loved it. Then it was released in outside of Japan, obviously, in Australia, which didn't exactly sell very well. Not many people knew about it, but oh well. And we also have our opera scene, not exactly the best opera scene, let me be honest. Not as good as Final Fantasy VI's. And I'm going to be talking over it, so tough titties, as I would say. You know why? Because nothing much happens and doesn't actually add to any narrative of the game. It's just pretty much, well, a random opera story. If you want to know, use your imagination, which we have absolutely no imagination whatsoever to fill in the gaps when it comes to modern day gaming. Plus, I absolutely love these blocky graphics. But yeah, this was one of the games I actually played when I was really young, and absolutely enjoyed it. It came out between, Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII, which sort of has that sort of FF8 sort of graphic appeal, just not as good and polished, obviously. It's more like a tech demo than anything. But when I actually played this, it was always a game that I've always looked back on and really liked the theme, I could say. Usually when it comes to RPGs, it's always set in a old school fantasy sort of setting or a future fantasy. This was the first time it felt like I was playing an RPG set in a modern time setting. Don't you just hate it when that happens? Yeah, that's what happens when you try and hold your farts in for too long and you spontaneously combust. Happens all the time when you're either going for a date, going on a date, or pretty much sitting in a theatre. It all makes perfect sense. But here we are at the game right here. It's got the more survival horror sort of feel to it, yet it's got a nice little mechanic when it comes to RPG games, which this is why I absolutely do love this game, even if it has aged a little bit. And here we are at the gameplay mechanics. So it's pretty much, just think of it as a Final Fantasy game, but instead you can move and you only have one character. Yeah. There we go. We get extra. We get our abilities. I just realized. Totally forgot about this sort of thing. I haven't actually played the start in ages. I remember always playing through Game Plus until I started playing this LP, of course. So we just gotta wait around, dodge around, until our ATB gauge actually fills up right there, as you can tell. So we just gotta keep dodging and walking into invisible walls. That's a problem in this game. So wait for it to shoot. There we go. Pop a few bullets in. Wait. Now I've always wanted, actually, I wouldn't say I've always wanted, I just realized a game that it sort of reminds me of. I just can't remember the top of my mind. If only this was more like a hell shooter sort of thing, with a more intricate sort of pattern sort of based attacks. That would have been pretty cool. They seem to know each other. Or at least one of them. Alright, the only problem with this game is the fact that the main character, Aya, right here, walks... Oh, this is my only gripe in this game. Walks a little slow. It sort of looks like she's sort of moonwalking a little bit. She's actually moving, motion-wise, faster than she's actually moving. But that's just a personal gripe. Maybe you guys can get over it. Let's forget it. Don't want to jump down there. Actually, we have to. So we obviously are playing as Aya Brea right here, who is a rookie NYPD cop who just decided to go on a bit of a date with someone and gets herself sort of trapped in this sort of predicament in which she actually uncovers her past. One of those typical stories. And we have ghosts. Yay, Maya. Alright, so that's enough about talking about the game. We'll go into that a little bit later. Let's talk about what's actually happening, because obviously I'm right here and it wouldn't be an LP if I'm not just talking about what I'm doing. We're playing for it. Let's play this game for once rather than talk. Oops. So yeah, you can tell he sort of takes a little bit of a inspiration from another game in particular that was actually very popular at this time. Good old Resident Evil. But obviously, as I mentioned before, Resi and Final Fantasy, two good things now as one. What is going on here indeed? I don't know. You tell me with your observational skills. No, not the jester. Damn, he would have been the happiest guy in his game. Alright, so as always, we'll just ramshackle through this locker room. It's always got to be loot around. Because, you know, people carry around pistol ammo. And that seems to happen a lot. The actual detection when it comes to interacting with items and objects here and there is a little bit funny in this game. I'll probably demonstrate that a little bit later in particular parts. Nothing, only 6 ammo. Alright, anything else I can observe? Nope, we'll just moonwalk our way out. There we go. That's, instead of our screen just sort of fading to black and spiraling out of control, as if the paint was a little bit too wet. We actually just have, you know, everything just blacks out for a bit. Not really blacks out, but grays out for a little bit to indicate the fact that we actually do have random encounters in this game. So it's not just pretty much scripted events all the time. So in any case, we have grinding in this game, but again, I'm not going to do any grinding. This game you sort of have to play flowing right through, because I don't know, when it comes to grinding, I've always hated the fact that you're not using your actual skills to bother with this game. Oh, this pixel right here is trying to talk to me. Looks like he died trying to eat something as well. Oh, looks like he's a goner, to be honest. There's no point calling up for an ambulance or anything. We'll just obviously have a look and steal anybody's crap in their locker, because, you know, that happens. Anything else we can observe? Now, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the detection in this game, because at least with Resident Evil, it was a lot easier, I would say. And everything was a lot more interactive when it comes to walking around spamming the X button. So enemies are pretty easy in this game. Oh, at the moment, I should say. Just run behind them, shoot them in the back, get a critical, level up. It's all good in the hood. Just gotta keep making sure that I don't waste ammo, because yes, we do have to worry about ammo in this game. No more regenerating ammo for us. Oh, here we go, we have that jester right there, who's now become, well, toasted, I could say. Even say I could say toasty. Ha ha ha. Bad jokes are bad jokes. So why haven't I explored yet? Haven't explored this area. Alright. And we can see there's a chest right here. So even in 1997, as it showed on the Merry Christmas sign. By the way, this game is based in this game is actually based on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, or around there I should say, in 1997. Yes, I will save our progress. And we shall save. whilst we have our heroine right here just absolutely picking up an invisible phone. Again, our imaginations would have been absolutely awesome back in the day, I could say, for us to actually not bother picking up on these things. Hot, hot, hot indeed. That was a hit back in 1994. Alright. So, we've explored everything right now. What is there else to explore? It's like I gotta find a key. Obviously. It's not like Silent Hill where it'll tell us that the door is jammed and you can't actually go in. I was here before. I'm trying to look for the key. The key. Again, when it comes to the earlier parts in this game, I'm a little bit blind when it comes to knowing where to go. But pretty much sure, after this part, I'll be able to pick up the pace a little bit. So no aimless wandering around like what I am doing right now. Trying to find where I'm supposed to go. I remember... yeah, there we go, that's the key. My fault for not actually checking him out. Oh, and you can tell, by the way, I probably didn't really flinch or anything, because I'm a little bit immune when it comes to survival horror games and getting pop scares. Or maybe it's the fact that this game isn't actually that scary at all, it tries to. Alright. So we have another parrot, because theatre people absolutely love parrots, I guess. Oh. Hey, it's a Garuda from... yeah, Final Fantasy. One shot kill. One shot, one kill, let's go. Can we interact with this bootcase? No, we can't. Closet. Yes, we can. And again, more people carry around ammo in their thing. I don't know how Americans do it. I'm not American, I'm Australian. And when it comes to guns, we don't even know shit. All about them, I could say. Now we have to interact with something, but maybe not in this room. When it comes to guns in Australia, the only thing we have are potato guns and knives. Nothing cool at all. Okay. More ammo. And we get to read someone's diary. When I can actually bloody trigger the damn event. There we go. A diary, so let's read it. This has been my dream. Solo concert, Central Park. Ah, oh, don't say that. We put our keys in our diaries nowadays, that's perfectly fine. And the reason why I actually shut up there is because it's the more, well, different part of this story, I could say. It's the more integral part. It is, when I first played this, I could say, it was a little bit unsettling knowing the past behind this character that we saw before, the one in the red dress. And you can tell that she's kind of pushing herself when it comes to wanting something so bad. So she kept taking drugs. Again, not a great idea. As what Aya sort of monologued to herself. Alright, welcome to Die. Second sort of, I could say boss fight, mini boss fight, I don't know what you want to call it. And she gets a little bit tougher, I'm actually getting hit. So let's use that opportunity to... let's use that opportunity to actually bother using our P right there, which is Parasite Energy. Pretty much just the MP of the game. It regenerates as well, but in order to actually use the skills... Oh, there we go. To actually use the skills, we still need our ATB gauge right there to fill up right there. Obviously, doesn't take too much health off, so it's not that bad. But as I was saying before, the only thing that's a little bit hard about this boss fight in general is the fact that she tends to move when she's shooting the lasers, so it's kind of hard to dodge. See, so you can't really telegraph where she's moving, so just be lucky. It's not that hard anyway, not that long. Completely free. You know, I know this game was pretty much based on a novel in Japan. This was actually a sequel for Parasite Eve, in which they're talking about biological terms here and there. But seriously, I reckon that this game, or the novels themselves, just found out some fancy words, looking through Grey's Anatomy or something like that, I don't know, and just decided to make a story about that. Because, yeah, I've done a lot of biology in my time, and let me tell you that the whole thing is bullshit. Take it with a grain of salt. I know I was supposed to not pay attention to particular details here and there, but come on, you gotta be ridiculous. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Because we'll just throw around the word mitochondria because it's a really long word. But you'll see what the significance is when it comes to the part of the cell in which produces the most energy, I could say. Or synthesizes ATP, I should say. I'm an idiot. Active time gauge, bar, what do you even call it? Getting my terms mixed up here. Alright, so we'll fight this boss right here. Boss. We'll finish up with this area and then we can save and call it a video, shall we? Took a fair bit of hits, so let's heal up. Okay, and this is probably optimal camera angle, I should say. Probably the best camera angle in the game. The fact that we can dodge and see everything doesn't matter. Yeah, I got cocky there. Let's get cocky again. What's the point in walking all the way around when I can just dodge right through a three-way shot and get hit? Because I didn't realize that you would actually get hit. They can actually lunge at you. Oh well. Let's keep walking through the sewers. Well, we had that boss fight with Eve before, or Melissa, I should say. She just made a hole for us. That goes straight into the sewers. Okay, more fights. So we got Toadman right here, and we got our rats. Not too hard. The frog thing, I think, takes a few more hits, but again, not too bad. They seem as though they have a bit of a ATB gauge themselves, so they won't attack very often. Only seems that they attack after a period of time. But the thing is that we have to run up and attack him anyway. Because again, if you see every single time we attack or we actually access our attack range right there, we can see that we have that bit of a dome thing. And I should use this weapon because this is the handy weapon of Solid Snake. Snake in general. Big boss, if you want to call him. And this is how we actually change weapons. But let me tell you, there's going to be more gun customizations later on down the track. And we'll start showing that off when he comes up. But we shall grab the M1911A1. I'm just calling it that. And we can also change armor. So, all your Final Fantasy needs all-in-one action-paced game where we climb stairs all day and walk through sewers in a nice dress. I don't know about you, but sewers are supposed to stink like shit, but obviously not. And we're taking this route here because we can see from there. There's an item box right there. I've actually used back in the day, if I couldn't find chests, I'll just wait until I see a enemy encounter so it actually shows it. Leveling up. Wrong way, I'm an idiot. Oh, well, at least we know that there was an extra encounter, so we can extremely grind some EXP. Who needs EXP when you should use skill in a game? Aren't I right, people? Again, not the biggest fan of Avatar sort of progression. Obviously our main heroine right here, I can't tell that the fact that she seems to be phasing in and out of time of some sort. I don't know. Don't look at me. Just witness and enjoy this game, won't we? Alright, that's right. We can't actually carry that many items yet. So again, more item management. A la... Ooh. Resident Evil. I wish I'd be able to increase our inventory size anyway. It's not as bad as being Chris Redfield and carrying around 6 items at a time. Gotta love these camera angles. At least this game doesn't actually rely on tank controls, which is pretty good. I know Parasite Eve 2 does. Again, nothing really wrong with tank controls, but you know, it gets in the way a little bit. And he actually has to complement the game. Don't touch the enemy. Oh, that's right, we had 3 shots now. Probably didn't mention that our increase in firepower lets us do 3 shots. Oh, wasted a turn right there. So yeah, whenever we... Actually, I'm going to heal because I am taking a few hits. Trust me, when we get further through the game, I won't be taking as many hits, as I'm not trying to come up with a tutorial sort of commentary. Because that's what I gotta explain, right? When it comes to... I will take things a little bit slow, I've been rushing a little bit. So, again, when the ATB gauge goes up and we see the dome, we can see how many bullets we can actually shoot before we finish our turn. Obviously, 3 shots now. The only problem with actually having more shots is the fact that you can't move, so you sort of got a bargain between having more shots, which adds up more ammo, or press the switch, or have the ability to move as soon as you actually do some damage. Again, up to you, up to your discretion. But that should be a video for now. Next up, we'll see our very first proper boss, as well as get a little bit more background story in regards to the game. And finally we get to see more gameplay elements as well, in which we'll be customizing some weapons. Can't wait to make this gun super strong. Actually, we also have an item right here. And usually I have a bit of a thing when it comes to using these sort of items, because I keep thinking that they're too good to use, but this game sort of rewards you for using it. So we'll pump it up into our big boss's gun right here, and you'll see later that the points right here, where is it, the extra base damage and the plus right there, we can actually move the pluses, I could say, the extra bonuses on the weapons to other weapons, so we don't have to feel so bad about it. But later on, we'll start seeing that a little bit later, and it works the same thing as our armor right there. But that should be it for now. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you next time.